Yes, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages, welcome back to your favorite wrestling podcast. And why? Well, it's not me. It's Damascus Des and Vinny Bucci. And today we are here to bring you predictions for the biggest party of the summer going down in Ohio this very weekend. Some people know it as SummerSlam, and so do I. Without further ado, let me introduce to you the real stars of the program. First, the wrestling encyclopedia from parts unknown, Johns Creek, Georgia, Vincent Kennedy Bucci.
Yes, the Booch is back, ladies and gentlemen, and I am excited for the biggest party of the summer because my goal this go around is to become undisputed. Because not only am I regaining the title that Desmond is currently holding, but I fully intend on taking back the championship I never lost on the Boochcast, which we'll be doing our live stream on twitch.tv/the Boochcast. But I just want to say right now, I will be taking my title back. The title I never lost, that I only was given away because Desmond wanted to give points for participation. But this time, that's not happening. I fully intend on taking back my title.
Desmond, how do you respond to that accusation?
I wasn't just being nice. He tied a little kid, and we decided that the kid was gonna get the tiebreaker because he's a kid, and that is that. He didn't beat the kid. The kid was even, so we didn't give him anything.
Yeah, so he didn't beat me either. So let's make that clear.
That is fair, but to sit there like, oh no, we just earned it with good predictions.
But also, to be super clear, no children were actually beaten. I just want everybody to understand, but by beat, he means selected the correct winners in the match predictions. So just so we're clear here. Yes.
I would assume we were on the same page, but I appreciate the clarification.
Hey, nowadays, one soundbite can be taken out of context. I could get canceled for the 14th time this month. So, let's get to it. I'm very excited to introduce this first match because we have Logan Paul, the current United States champion, taking on LA Knight. This is a match that could truly elevate this title, a somewhat dormant title, because of Logan Paul's schedule outside of WWE, obviously conflicting with his ability to compete. A lot of fans have some feelings about this. Let's let the champion speak first. Damascus Des, we didn't give you a proper introduction. In fact, I think Vinny's stuck on the road to Damascus, but Desmond Dagenhart right here with us, our current, and I mean very temporary champion.
Right. I believe I've held the title more in since I've been on the podcast than you have.
That's neither here nor there, but please continue.
Regardless, this match, it should be a great match. I enjoy watching Logan Paul in the ring. The only issue I have is, I've said it every time, when you put a title on somebody who's a part-timer, they need to be willing to be there, at least doing promos. They don't have to wrestle every week, but be there making promos, make an appearance. And he hasn't been. I mean, he's had the title, for like 6 months now?
Yeah, he won it at one of the Saudi Arabia shows a while back.
Right, and he's only defended it twice. So I am glad to see LA Knight take this title from him. There is no doubt in my mind.
That's one for LA Knight. Vincent Kennedy Bucci, our resident encyclopedia, no renewal needed. What say you to this match?
Well, I definitely think LA Knight is winning. Personally, I haven't really had an issue with his title run. Like, I don't have the part-time issue simply because Logan Paul's such a star and he brings that title everywhere he goes. Even though, yeah, I'd like to see him on more often. The U.S. title still gets publicity. But LA Knight needs this win because they have been holding back on really, like, they give him a mega push. There's a lot of times where he goes for a title or a big match, that's somehow, it's like 5 steps forward and then like it's like kind of crazy like that. So what I like to see is LA Knight get the U.S. title because I feel like that's a with sending him a title. And LA Knight needs a big win, needs a title around his waist. Now is the perfect time at SummerSlam. 100%, the megastar is taking the belt.
Wow. It's hard to disagree with you, gentlemen. It seems like it is time. He's due, way overdue. He's been in the oven way too long. He's burnt to a crisp. He's already naturally tan, but we all know it's time for LA Knight to do what he does come the biggest party of the summer. So that's 3 in the corner of LA Knight. We are in agreement, in pursuit of that beautiful title around Damascus Desmond's shoulder. As we move on to the second match, a match that a lot of folks are excited for, myself included. Sami Zayn taking on Braun Breaker. Very interesting match to some people. For me, it seems like a slam dunk, but maybe I'm wrong on this. Vinny, what say you?
100% Braun Breaker's winning. Again, this is another one of those scenarios where he's ready and he's trying to take it. Like, this is Braun Breaker's been amazing since NXT. His main roster run's been great. A lot of people were upset he lost at Money in the Bank included, but at least with his promos, he was able to recover from the loss and justify it to the audience. Like, hey, I took Sami Zayn lightly. This time I'm not. I'm going to destroy him. And again, this is another scenario where Braun Breaker is definitely a future world champion. So the Intercontinental title is the best belt for him right now. So 100% I go with Braun Breaker.
And Des, are you letting the dirt sheet sway you on this one? You feeling Sami Zayn retention?
This one, I found it funny that you started with these 2 matches because these are the 2 that me and Vinny 100% had no question about agreeing on. Sami Zayn does not need to be a mid-card champion anymore. It's that point. He needs to be in the world title picture. I think what should happen personally is they should have him kind of take a sabbatical after this match. Like, maybe Braun Breaker injures him and he goes away for a little while, and then when he comes back, he gets a big hype from the fans, and then he can go after a world title.
Makes a lot of sense. I like that analysis. I'm kind of tempted here. I feel like it's so obvious that we might get swerved, and they might push the title loss for Zayn back a couple months. I'm very torn here. You know what? I'm gonna go for it. I'm going for it. I got nothing to lose. I'm in a corner here. I gotta make bold choices to get that belt back. And this is gonna be the first of a few bold choices. I'm calling it Sami Zayn to retain his Intercontinental Championship this weekend at SummerSlam.
Cool. I mean, it just means my only competition is Vinny. I'm good.
Is that always?
Hey. If I'm not mistaken, I did hold the belt for 3 strong weeks. There you go.
Congratulations. You won a B pay-per-view and lost it immediately after.
That's right, and I'm proud of it. What else I'm proud of is I think we're going to have some super awesome discussion around this next match. Is it time for Priest to lose the World Heavyweight Championship belt as we're watching the Judgment Day dissolve right in front of our very eyes? I'm going to take a quick lead on this. You guys are going to have a lot more in-depth analysis, I'm sure. Vinny, this is a match where I feel like you put more thought into it than both Desmond and I combined, probably. I personally feel like it's been, 4 months almost, that Damian Priest has had this championship belt. Is that correct? Vincent Kennedy Bucci? How long has he had this belt?
He won it at WrestleMania.
Yeah, he won at WrestleMania. So it's been 4 months, yeah.
So in that time, we've seen a lot go down with this faction. We've also seen Gunther lose an Intercontinental Championship belt in pursuit of greener pastures. I think with everything going on with Judgment Day, outside interference, there's going to be ringside squabbles. There's going to be just enough distraction for Damian Priest to lose this match in a way that he doesn't lose face. He doesn't lose the respect of the universe, but it makes sense storyline-wise. So therefore, your friend the Wenz here is going with Gunther to win the World Heavyweight Championship. Whoever wants to go next, feel free.
Interestingly enough, this is one of the ones that me and Vinny 100% did talk about. We kind of talked about this all on Tuesday when we were talking about Monday Night Raw. I can definitely see this match going either way. Okay, I understand why they would want to push Gunther. I understand that at some point Damien's got to leave the Judgment Day. There's a lot that can happen here. I think personally that they're going to keep the title on him. And the reason for that is I think that they're going to want the rematch between Damien and Seth Rollins. Seth could win the belt back, and then Seth would drop the belt to Gunther later down the road.
Speaking of Seth, we'll talk about him in a match down the line, but go ahead.
So yeah, and this is definitely one of those chances. It's like I see why everyone's like, oh, Gunther's going to win this, and it makes sense. But I'm taking a chance and saying that based on a couple of small things, I think that we're going to see a retention from Damian Priest.
Wow. Booch, what's your stance on this, my friend? It looks like this could be a dividing line right here.
Well, yeah, it's a very tough match to call because of how well they're telling the story. And that's the key thing. Like, Gunther is really pulling out all the stops to heel, calling him street trash and everything. Damian Priest talking more about his upbringing and where he came from and doing very much babyface one-on-one promos, but very well. So they're really hyping this up to make it more than just, okay, Gunther won the King of the Ring, so I got to fight this guy. Now they're actually putting the story behind it, which is what's going to draw money and get attention. And when I look at this, Damian Priest, as we mentioned many times, is on his way out the Judgment Day. And there has to be that thing that happens that ultimately either makes Damian Priest say, I can't take this anymore, or make the Judgment Day decide we can't tolerate him anymore. And I feel like what better way than for the Judgment Day to interfere in this match because they're not barred from ringside. And instead of helping Damian, they either accidentally or intentionally cost him the title, and that causes the friction. Because I feel like if Damian has to leave the Judgment Day while still champion, it's doable, but I think it would feel kind of forced. It wouldn't make. I feel like you have more of a justifiable reason for Damian to say, fuck the Judgment Day, I'm out of here, than if they cost him the World Heavyweight title, and now he's no longer El Campeon. So, and Gunther is more than ready for this belt. And I feel like that's part of the reason they took the Intercontinental title off him to begin with, because they're ready to put the world title on him, and they're ready to run with him as a dominant heel. So that's why I think it's a confident pick, but it's still a roll of the dice. I go with Gunther to win the title.
All right. Excellent. Next match, we go to a less exciting match, in my view, one that should have a lot more hype behind it. I just think that they're not doing the Queen of the Ring any justice. And that's, of course, talking about Bayley, our current WWE Women's Champion, taking on the aforementioned Nia Jax. Y'all know my ongoing love and affection for Nia Jax. She's just amazing. She can do no wrong in my world. It's time. It's time. Okay, there's no reason why they should not put this belt around her shoulder, because it won't be around her waist. I'm very excited about this run because I think she can do really good things with this, and I think she's in actually the best shape of her life. I think she's been through so much crap with this company that this is like the second coming of Nia. Like, this is her time. This will be the last time. I feel like this is a now or never moment for her, and therefore I'm going to go with Nia Jax to win the WWE Women's Championship. Damascus Des, what do you think?
It's funny because at King of the Ring, I did go against Nia because I said they always tend to build her to the big match, and then she fails. And it's been a reoccurring thing. And now I'm wondering is that going to be the case again here at SummerSlam? Because it's like, okay, so they gave her what they wanted. She got to be the monster for a minute. I'll be real with you. I really wish that I could have watched SmackDown before making this recording, because I want to see what happens between the two of them. But since I can't do that, I think Bayley's had the title long enough. She did what she needed to do. It hasn't been a long time that she's had the title, but it's long enough. And Nia needs this win. I agree with you that it's kind of a now or never. I'm gonna go with Nia. The story's there for it. It makes sense, but I don't know. I just that pit of my stomach problem. I'm sitting here like this would be the time that they drop the ball on her like they have in the past. But my money's on Nia.
I love it. And I feel you on that. It does seem like that does happen, but they might be turning a corner with new leadership. Listen, we got a new leader calling the shots. Triple H. Vincent Kennedy Bucci, what's your vibe on this match, sir?
Well, this is the second time where I thought Desmond was going to go one way and then he swerved me. So I honestly thought he was going to say Bayley, because that has come up in conversations. So I'm a little shocked about that. But this one for me is the hardest one to call. This is the only one where I am really stuck down the middle on where they could go with this storyline wise. But if I really had to think about it, ultimately, I love Bayley as champion. I love the fact that she's won. I think she's doing amazing with the belt. I don't know where else she can go with it.
Right.
As far as challengers. So I think because of that, that's why I'm going with Nia Jax. Because with Nia, she's got more. There's a rematch with Bayley. There's more baby faces she can work with. She can have a dominant run with the title. It can make the Queen of the Ring mean something. Because for a while it really hasn't. It's just been kind of like, I think they've only had like one Queen of the Ring tournament. And I think it was like, and back then it was just like, yeah, I got a crown. This is like the first time in a long time they've actually put a title shot on it. So I feel like to make it mean something, Nia has to win it. So I'll go with Nia Jax.
Yeah, this is another one that all three of us agree on. We all three agreed on Logan Paul and LA Knight. And this is something that I'm kind of thinking about in the background. Do you think potentially we see a return of the Queen? Not the Queen of the Ring, but the Queen of WWE.
It would be interesting. She could come back as a face and would make a great first challenge for Nia. Assuming they let Nia win. That is a big thing. You don't bring Charlotte back and have her run over the champion. That's just a waste. Have Charlotte come back and have her look like she's gonna run over the champion, but then Nia in the end gets the win. It makes Nia look better.
Yep. Agreed. This next women's match is one that's been built up so beautifully. The way they've been able to take somebody's absence and build anticipation. I'm trying to really remember a time where somebody was either on vacation, on maternity leave, injured, not injured, whatever the story is, where the story around them was being built up so much. And that is what this creative team has done with this ongoing love saga with Liv Morgan and Dirty Dominic in Rhea Ripley's absence. Now she's back. She's been back for a few weeks, but she was gone for a long time. I want to give you my pick. I'm going to wait. I'm going to defer. I want to hear Vincent Kennedy's pick first on this because his pick may somewhat sway me. No, I'm not saying I don't have an opinion, but what I'm saying is sometimes his opinion is pretty good.
Yeah. Well, I will say this, Wenz, to piggyback on something you said earlier. This is a good love story if you consider stalking to be love. I will say that. Some people do, some people don't. Whatever your fetish is. It's no secret. I have not been a fan of this storyline at all. A lot of double standards, a lot of hypocrisy. Just haven't enjoyed it.
It's a love triangle, Booch. It's supposed to have all of those things.
it's a love triangle if both people are in love. If one person's in love and the other person's saying, get the hell away from me, that's not a love triangle. That's not a triangle. That's a one-sided psycho person like you've seen in like the movies, where like the person has a shrine in the basement, you go, what the hell is wrong with you? That kind of thing.
He's just playing hard to get, Booch. He's just playing hard to get. That's all it is.
Serious. But anyway, with this whole crazy storyline, I will say nothing would make me happier than for Rhea Ripley to win this title. Nothing in the world make me happier. But like I said before, I want my title back. I want both of those titles back. So I am going to swallow my pride, and I'm going to go with Liv Morgan because I do think there's going to be a swerve. I don't want it to be. I think it's ridiculous, but I want my title back, and then I'll just go cry in the shower after the match because I'm going to feel dirty when this is over. But I'll go with Liv Morgan to retain the belt.
Endless irony here in Wenz world. Vincent Kennedy Bucci losing his belt, Rhea Ripley losing her belt through no fault of her own. I mean, Bucci, you lost because you lost, but that's pretty much the end of the irony. So it's ended. It's not endless. But one thing I will say here, Booch, is I love your synopsis of it. You're in the corner. You're scratching, you're clawing, you're saying to yourself, how can I get this championship back? And this is the match that could do it. Damascus Des, before I give my pick, I would love to hear your synopsis, sir. What say you about this match?
I love the story. I loved watching Dom slowly go over to Liv's side until Rhea returned, and then Dom being like, "Oh, I fucked up." I loved every bit of this story. It was fun. Okay, sometimes it can just be fun. I am a fan of Liv Morgan. She's great in the ring. She's super popular, super over. I think, though, the big thing right here is that Rhea does not need that championship. Rhea is a threat no matter who she's in the ring with. She is a draw no matter whether she's champion or not. And she's got plenty of storylines to work with. Liv Morgan needs the title right now. And Liv Morgan needs to prove that she can beat Rhea because Rhea never lost that title in the first place. And what I think is going to happen is Dom is going to screw over Rhea. I don't know if it'll be accidentally. I don't know if it'll be on purpose, but I think he's going to be the deciding factor and Liv's going to get the win.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely getting involved one way or the other. Now, who he'll mean to cost the match and who will actually cost the match, that'll be the rub. That'll be the thing that maybe if they can keep us guessing to his intentions, maybe make it so down the middle where we're like, wait a minute, was that chair for her or was it for her? I don't know. But one thing's for sure, I need to see Liv Morgan retain for the betterment of the storyline and to keep this thing going. Because you're right, Des. There's no sense in having Ripley win just for status. She is who she is, and we all know who she is. She's a force to be reckoned with. Not the irresistible force in Nia Jax, but a force nonetheless. I'm torn here. I'm torn, guys, because I've already gone out of the line on the limb once for Sami Zayn, and I feel like this is a match where WWE might just let Rhea Ripley win because they don't see the picture the way the fans see it. Sometimes they look way beyond instead of just looking at the beauty right in front of them. Again, this fun storyline. It's been fun. So, man, I'm kind of torn. I want to go with Liv Morgan to have a fighting chance at that championship belt, but the fan in me wants to go with, I'm going with Rhea Ripley. I'm going for it, putting it on the line. The Wenz has said it here, going on the line twice in one pay-per-view.
Look at that.
I might be in a place where I can win this damn belt. I feel it. I feel like
you can go with the weird options and you win. It's possible.
I feel like the genetic jackhammer walking down the ramp here. I'm going to do it. I'm going to walk down there. Speaking of the genetic jackhammer, his son doing conversations with Tony Khan. Didn't know if you know that. Shane O'Mac in chats with Tony Khan on the low here. But we're not going to talk about that before we get to these last two matches. We may get time. We talked about Seth Rollins. He has an integral part in the last match that we're going to get to. But before that, let's talk about the match. We all are going to agree on who's going to win, but let's talk about how he wins. And let's talk about perhaps who gets involved, how they get involved. Will we see The Rock? Perhaps we'll see, 99% sure we'll see Roman Reigns return at SummerSlam. But let's talk about Cody Rhodes and Solo Sikoa, the undisputed WWE Championship on the line. We all agree that Cody Rhodes is not losing, right? Has anybody changed their mind?
Oh, yeah, Cody's winning this one.
Cody's winning 100%.
Okay. So with that said, I feel like we need one way to differentiate here. If you have one, if not, no big deal. But with everything in place,
say it. I'm the champion. I don't need a tiebreaker.
Thought you had a fighting spirit, Des. Coming up a little small here.
That fighting spirit will allow me to cling to technicalities.
All right, that's a very heel-like move, and I appreciate you staying in character here. Booch, what are you thinking here?
Okay, well, the thing is, I know Cody's gonna win. That's why this match, I'm really not happy that it's happening, and it's also why I was not happy with Cody getting pinned at Money in the Bank, because I'm all for building up Solo, but when you put him in a match where you know he's gonna lose and the title's on the line, again, it's one of those situations where you're taking major sets back with the character. So the only way it can work is this is the one match that has to have interference. There has to be a distraction. There has to be some type of fuckery that takes place. Cody cannot win clean. If he wins clean, this whole thing goes to hell. But if he can get a distraction, like let's say Roman's music plays, or Paul Heyman comes out and says, "Ladies and gentlemen," and then plays Roman's music, and both of them come out, and then Solo gets distracted because he sees Paul, he sees Roman, Cody takes advantage with the crossroads, 1, 2, 3. That would be a way to do it. So that would be the tiebreaker I say. I say Roman shows up at SummerSlam.
I actually want to say something. I don't think Roman's going to get involved in the match. I think Jimmy Uso gets involved in the match. And then after Solo loses, that's when you hear, "Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman, and I am the wise man to the true tribal chief, Roman Reigns." And then the music plays.
And I like that setup. It could go either way. I think Roman Reigns definitely shows up, but again, the differentiation is whether it's during the match, whether he interferes or not, he will show up and clearly be a distraction because anybody at the top of the ramp is a distraction nowadays. Or Desmond saying Jimmy Uso is the actual distraction. So there's a differentiator. Des, you came with it. I'm gonna take again. I'm just down the ramp. I'm gonna say that Roman Reigns does nothing with this match whatsoever. I think that The Rock shows up and becomes more of a factor than Roman Reigns. That's my outlandish, crazy, what is he thinking prediction. Rocky Maivia shows up, tethers and all. Our last match of the night, this one has future storyline implications because of who is refereeing. Will he be in a blouse? Will he be in a regular ref shirt? I don't know. Either way, I'm excited to see.
The one that he read the rules in.
Will he call it down the line? Will he be like the old school HBK? You know, back in the mid-90s, something like that? Was he guest referee for an Undertaker match?
Yeah, Undertaker and Bret Hart.
There you go. Yep. So we all know how that match ended. Will he get involved to that degree? Vincent Kennedy Bucci, what say you about Drew McIntyre taking on CM Punk? No titles, just pride and legacy on the line with Seth freaking Rollins as your special guest referee.
Well, I love the fact that Seth said that disqualifications were his discretion. and that I'll count to whatever number I want. Because there needs to be some rule breaking in this match. You can't have a normal wrestling match with these two because it's way too personal. Like, if Seth wasn't the referee, you'd have to make this a no-holds-barred match because it's way too personal. So the fact that Seth's going to be like, look, I'm going to let you two just kill each other, and then I'll count. I like that. So that's the one thing Seth brought to the match that I enjoyed. At first, I was skeptical about him being the special guest referee because I don't want Seth costing anybody anything. But the fact that he hates both of these guys is more of a believable way to make him go down the middle. But ultimately, CM Punk is winning. He just got back from injury. He's insanely over. They got more they want to do with him than they want to do with Drew McIntyre. Plus, Drew can keep going down the rabbit hole of being angry and bitter because he's more entertaining when he's bitter than when he's happy. So the more bitter you can make him, the better off the story's going to be. So I'm going with CM Punk.
The more bitter, the better. You've heard it here first, folks, from our friend Vincent Kennedy Bucci. Damascus Des, this could be a point of contention, perhaps?
It's not. No, we've crossed our points of contention at this point. No, CM Punk's winning this. Drew, they're going to give him more and more reasons. He's going to blame Seth Rollins. It's like he should have been in the match. It'll give him more shit to be angry about. It'll give Punk the win he needs because he hasn't been in WWE consistently. There's no reason to give Drew this win. It just isn't. There's nothing that benefits. There's nothing good that comes from giving Drew this win. So it's CM Punk.
Yeah, it's hard to see a scenario where CM Punk loses his first, singles match in about a decade in WWE. So this is a match that doesn't make sense, especially because Drew McIntyre doesn't need a win right now. He'll be like Rhea Ripley on the opposite side. He's always going to be hanging around the title picture, not a necessity. So I too will obviously go with CM Punk. Now, we talked about it before. We alluded to it. We know who our champion is now. We do not know who our champion will be at the end of this weekend. But I want to talk about the rumors going on with Shane O'Mac. Like, what could he possibly be talking to Tony Khan about? A contract for him? Contract for one of his kids, maybe? What do you guys think?
I think he could be a great on-air authority figure. That to me is the best thing. And there are very few people outside of WWE right now that I think would be anywhere near as useful as far as knowing the business. He grew up in the business from a very young age. He's always been on the management side to an extent. I feel like maybe he's the balls Tony Khan needs.
His walking could be like a pocket stenographer, but you could put him in front, like right here, just walk him around.
He, like Vince used to say, is the grapefruits.
Yeah.
I really do. I think that if Shane were to go, then I think if he signs a contract, it should be more backstage than anything, and then he could be an on camera authority figure. But I think the big thing that with AEW is they need to take the power, the booking power at least, away from the elite and the handful of wrestlers. It's like there needs to be a difference between the booking committee and the people who are actually in the ring.
Booch, anything to add to that? That was strong.
Absolutely. Like, there needs to be one boss. Like, again, like, people have their opinions on Vince McMahon, but when he ran WWE, he was the boss. The buck stopped with him. Like, you can have your difference of opinions, you can have your suggestions. Some people were top guys, had a lot of influence, but if Vince put his foot down and said, this is what was happening, that's it, the conversation's done. Leave my office, go do what I told you to do. AEW doesn't have that at all. There is no structure. And that's part of the reason why a lot of guys who've left and gone to WWE are happier because they're in a place that has structure. And Shane is somebody that can bring structure to AEW because, as Desmond said, he knows it. Like, he's not only the son of Vince McMahon, he worked closely with him. And Shane has been a businessman on his own, building his own businesses, and he has a mind for the business. And again, he could be an on-camera authority figure. He should be a backstage authority figure. Again, like Desmond said it perfectly, the balls that Tony Khan needs. Somebody that is not afraid to tell you what you need to know, and if you don't like it, there's the door. And someone needs to say that, and Shane's perfect for it. Better at, but I know they're not going to bring him in, so Shane's the next best thing. So, and the best part is, in the rare moments that Shane wanted to get in the ring, because if you watch Shane McMahon's matches, he's basically Darby Allin, but taller and more muscular and less depressing. He does almost the same crazy shit that all of them do. So you can't get mad at Shane McMahon for getting in the ring. He does the same shit that you all do.
Oh, absolutely. No, Shane, I love watching Shane in the ring because, he's like, I've only got to wrestle one match. I've only got to wrestle one match, and then I can recover for another 2 years.
Yes. And he has done really well. Like when he opened WrestleMania with AJ Styles, they tore the house down.
Yep. I was gonna say,
go to the table. I'm gonna do the coast to coast.
Yep, coast to coast.
I'm gonna take bumps that no man my age should take.
Yep.
And then I'm not gonna wrestle again for a long time.
Good for him. And that's a pay-per-view that people would pay for just to put him on the ticket. Like, people would do it. It's Shane O'Mac. So thank you for that insight, guys. Appreciate it. We will come back to the Wenz Worldians here with a recap show very, very soon after the biggest party of the summer. But one thing's for sure, we will never, ever leave an episode of the Male Soap Opera Moment without a couple key catchphrases plus one. The first one, have a nice day.
Bang, bang.
And to steal one from the booch, pizza, baby.